Advanced phrases for the language of love. I think this is fitting, seeing that it is Valentine's Day, and I wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. But if you are someone who enjoys learning new phrases, building your vocabulary, please subscribe, turn on notifications. That way I can become your teacher. My name is Wes. The channel is Interactive English, and it's all about trying to help you reach your fluency goals. For those of you who have joined these lessons before, I think you already know that. Now, I say the phrases are advanced, even though I'm sure you're familiar with some of them. They're very common, especially I think when it comes to love. That's a pretty popular topic. But my goal with all of these lessons is that you learn something new, and I'm confident that you're going to learn something new in this lesson right here. And of course, if you want to download these notes that are right next to me, you can join our community and you will get a copy of these notes. If you're already a part of our community, check your inbox. There is an email waiting for you with these lesson notes. I'll go ahead and throw it in the chat right here, but check out that link down below in the description. So without further ado, let's jump into the lesson. And of course, I want you to participate. This is Interactive English. After all, write your answer in the chat or write them in the comments if you're watching this later. I always love seeing people write their answer in the comments. Use it like a piece of paper as you're taking this mini quiz about these advanced phrases. So I want you to fill in the blank. There are two missing words, because we're talking about a phrase. I have a you. What phrase could complete this sentence? Now, there may be more than one phrase, but let me make it a little more specific. And the meaning of this phrase is it refers to a strong but temporary feeling of liking someone. And that is the key word. I think temporary is the key word when it comes to this phrase. I have a you. I almost said the second part of this, which I think would have given it away. And excellent. I see some great answers. Perfect. Julia, who else do we have? Keva, nice. I have a crush on you. So if you have a crush on someone, given you the meaning right down there below, you have a strong but temporary feeling of liking someone. Keep in mind that you could also say that someone is your crush or his crush or her crush, which is a person with whom someone temporarily loves. So think about this situation. I would say, I have a crush on her, or she is my crush. So it could be used both ways, but the meaning is the same. Often I feel like people are going to say that you have a crush on someone. And that is, I think, a common phrase when talking about dating, especially when we're younger. And I think we always, there are people that we have a crush on. What do you think about this one? She did not know that she had a, again, there are two missing words. This is a common collocation. These words are frequently used together. And I imagine you've heard of this before. Watching a TV show or movie, this is something that comes up, especially around Valentine's Day. Think about the picture. She's holding this, let's say it's a letter, even though I don't think, if you look closely, it doesn't look like a letter. It looks like some type of notice or announcement. But you would say that somebody has a, what is the missing noun? Great job, Lolly, Julia, secret admirer. Manuel, good. So a secret admirer, in case this is the first time you're hearing about this noun, is a person who is romantically attracted to someone else, but they show it in a secret way. They don't want to reveal their identity, so they may do this and express their feelings by giving gifts or writing letters, and you have a secret admirer. Then we have this question. This is, I think, a little more challenging because it's the title of a song by John Paul Young, who sang this song in 1978. Great year. It was the year I was born. So if you want to know how old I am, you just got to do the math. But the song would, you would say this phrase, which is quite common. Everywhere I look around. Every sight and every sound. I don't want to sing the whole song. I'm a terrible singer, and I don't want to do that to you. But what expression? I'll say it's an expression because it's one that someone would say when they're commenting about the atmosphere or the environment. Any guesses? This is, again, the title of a song by John Paul Young. It basically is a sentence that you would just use. And you would say, I don't have any guesses. Oh, there it is. Nice. Ella, good job. Love is in the air. So when somebody says, they say this statement, love is in the air, it's this sense of romance or a loving atmosphere or this feeling of love. So it's like if you have two friends that you think are going to, maybe they like each other, you think they'll start dating, you could make this comment, I think love is in the air. Something may happen between these two people. Love is in the air. I told you that this was a song by John Paul Young. If you want to check it out, if you get the lesson notes, this is a clickable link right here. You click on this image, it's going to take you to the video on YouTube, and you could listen to the song. Again, it's an older song, but one that I feel like you may hear in a movie or TV show. It was quite popular at the time. How about this one? I blanked out a few different words. So it says, every girl wants a knight in shining armor to her, her. A fairy tale ending can exist if you believe. I think it seems like this was part of a kind of like a card. Now, I've gone ahead and given you a knight in shining armor. This is a phrase that you could use to refer to someone who would usually be a man, who saves or helps someone else, usually a woman in this case, from a difficult or dangerous situation. So you could say, oh, he is my knight in shining armor, like my hero, somebody who helped me, rescued me. And again, you could use this generally today to talk about, I don't know, maybe somebody helps you with a project at work and like, oh my gosh, you saved me. You're my knight in shining armor. But that is not the word that I want, or the phrase that I want you to complete. I wanted to go ahead and give that to you, but your knight in shining armor to her, what? Here's a hint. And maybe now this may make it a little too easy, but this is an idiom in English that you could use to, I don't want to give it away, but you see these two images right here. You see the broom and then this person's feet. So you could try to piece together the idiom, every girl wants a knight in shining armor to, anybody? The answer, to sweep her off her feet. So in this case, if you sweep someone off their feet, it's an idiom that means that you make suddenly become very attracted to someone in a romantic way, to sweep someone off their feet. So that is, again, an idiom you may hear from time to time, especially nowadays, this time of year, Valentine's. You turn on the TV, a lot of shows are related to that, movies. So you may hear definitely some of these advanced phrases. This one, bonus points if you can name that movie. I love you. Now, this is not, I don't expect you could give me the quote from the movie, but the idea is insert nickname here. I want you to, let's all think of different romantic nicknames that you could have, that you may have for someone you love. What are some things that you could call the person, your partner, your spouse, your wife, your husband? What are some nicknames that you could give them? So there is no wrong answer. This is just trying to get the vocabulary juices flowing. I'm going to give you some of them, but there are others that you could use as well. And I think some are more common than others. I love you. Now, in the movie, there's a specific word that he uses, Tom Cruise, right there. And I'm sure some of you probably recognize it. Maybe you've seen it. I see some good answers in there as far as sweetheart, honey, bae, sweetie. Nice. So here again, for this one, there's no wrong answer. These are just some different romantic nicknames that someone may have for their partner. In the movie, the thing that they kind of joke about was that he always says like, "Oh, I love you, babe. I love you, babe." And this movie, Jerry Maguire, in case you haven't seen it. But again, put some down here as far as babe, darling, sweetheart, honey, sugar, boo, doll, handsome, baby. There are many of them. Now, one thing I would say is that these are nicknames for your partner, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, somebody who you are in a relationship with. Do not use these with a colleague or a friend. It could be very awkward. These are romantic nicknames. And again, it depends on who your partner is. Some people may not like a nickname. So just because you are seeing somebody does not mean that you are always going to use one of these nicknames. Just keep that in mind. As far as which ones are more common, I want to give you a little bit of a reference. Here is Ngram Viewer comparing the frequency of darling, sweetheart, babe, and boo, just those in particular. And as you can see, darling, I think, is a little more commonly used. Now, this may not be entirely accurate because I think sweetheart, babe, boo, those are definitely nicknames. Darling could be used in other contexts as well. For example, I grew up in the South, and it would not be uncommon if I'm at a restaurant and I don't know, a waitress comes up and says, "Hey, what can I get you, darling?" And they use this just casually with, a customer. So some of the other ones I didn't include, like honey, for example. Then you would have people, you would have it referring to honey as well as like the food or sugar, things like that. So I didn't include those, but just as a reference, you can see darling is pretty popular, as well as sweetheart. Now, I wanted to kind of walk you through a situation with these fill in the blanks, and I was trying to think of like, okay, who could I use? And I figured I'd just use my wife and just use myself as an example to talk about some of these different idioms and expressions and phrases. So I would say when we first met, we really what? There are 3 words in this phrase. It means to like someone and become friendly immediately. So when my wife and I first met, we really what? I thought this was going to be a little more challenging, but you guys seem to have gone right through it. Well done, Manuel, Eva, Keva, Julia, to hit it off. So if you're talking about 2 people that become friendly immediately, you could say they hit it off. Now, this could be used in more of a romantic context. You go out on a date with someone, oh, we really hit it off. Or you could use it just to talk about a friend. It doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship, that you meet someone for the first time, you're out somewhere, and wow, we became friends immediately, we really hit it off. So it could be used either way. Just keep in mind, but it's a good phrase when talking about becoming close and friendly immediately. And that's the key word. You have this quick connection. The next one, I would try to her at work. Now, this is a verb that you're often going to follow with this preposition in this context. Now, I'm giving you the dictionary meaning down here. Maybe I would disagree slightly with the meaning, and I'll talk about that when I give you the answer. But what would you say? So again, I met her, we worked together, and maybe to show that I'm maybe a little interested, that we're friendly, and I would try to her at work. What phrase could we use to complete this? So in this context, well done, Pelagoya. Flirt with, to flirt with someone. So this is a little more friendly. Now, I told you that this is the dictionary definition down here. The one thing that I would disagree with necessarily, it says like you're sexually attracted. maybe a little bit, but really, I think flirt it can be more of an innocent word to show that you kind of like someone, you enjoy spending time with them, and maybe there could be the possibility of a romantic relationship. I think sexually is a little bit of a strong word. And then it says, although not seriously. I feel like when you're talking about flirting with someone, it's implied that you kind of, you're interested in this person, you like them, and maybe, yeah, you want to date with them. One thing I want you to keep in mind with this, I'm using it as a verb, to flirt with someone, but we could also use this as a noun and an adjective. I thought I would go ahead and give you the rest of the words in the word family. And as an example as to how they're used in context, here are some news headlines like to flirt, how to flirt using your body language, or referring to someone as a flirt. Dear Abby, would he cheat or is he just a flirt? And then as an adjective, saying that someone is flirtatious. Blind date, I got friendly, flirtatious vibes for a first date. So those are some examples as to how you would use these different parts of speech in context. But this is, again, a word that I think is quite common. All right. Shortly after, I fell in love. So we met each other at work. We would, flirt with each other. And then I could say, shortly after, I fell in love. I think part of a hint with this one is looking at that verb, to fall, and then the final part of this sentence, in love. This is another idiom that, again, a love idiom when talking about love and relationships. And you would say, someone would fall in love. And great job. I think you guys know this. I'm sure you've heard of it. Eva, Vidya, Julia, to fall head over heels in love. You fall suddenly and deeply in love with someone. It's really just a way of emphasizing that you have fallen in love with this person. Oh, I fell head over heels in love, and you're adding that emphasis. Eventually, this one's maybe a little more challenging. I'll be impressed if you get this one. Eventually, I was able to her, and we got married in New York City. And this is true. This is one of the pictures from our wedding day, March 6th, 2017. The anniversary is coming up. So this is not a phrase. It's just there's a verb that's missing. So eventually I was able to her, and we got married in New York City. Now, I see that many people, when you probably think the word marriage, you think of that verb to propose. But keep in mind, if you're going to use the verb propose, you're going to follow that with to. You propose to someone. So in this case, it wouldn't really work. So instead of propose, again, I was trying to, yes, I think little bit of a spelling, but yes, I think some of them be Taylor Vidya. The answer is to woo someone. To woo, W-O-O. It basically means you gain the love of someone, especially with the view of marriage. So if you are trying to woo someone, you're trying to, have this person fall head over heels in love with you with the idea that you will marry this person, and you are trying to woo this person. It is not the most common verb in the world. Maybe it's new, which again, that's great. The idea with these lessons is that hopefully you always learn something new. So again, it's a very precise verb. Somebody's trying to woo someone else, get them to fall in love, and then you will eventually marry this person. To woo someone. And then this picture, you can see we just finished that half marathon right there. So after we got married, I could say, now I refer to her as my what? Once again, This is, there are other, sure, I think there are probably numerous words that you could use to fill in this blank right here. I'll try to give you a hint that it's an idiom that we're looking for. So again, I know I see like, soulmate, life partner. Sure, that would work. That would complete the sentence, but I'm specifically referring to an idiom that you would use when talking about your partner. And you would refer to this person informally as your what? I think this is an idiom that you may have heard before. Again, if you're someone who watches a lot of TV or watches many movies in English, you like the romantic comedies, those rom-coms, you would say that you would refer to someone, oh, I haven't seen the answer. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, better half. So if you talk about someone's better half, you're basically referring to your partner, your wife, your husband, and it's like you're kind of saying that, you are one half of the relationship. And it's kind of a compliment saying, well, this is the better half. This is my better half, my partner, my wife, my husband. And you could use this informally if you're introducing. If I'm introducing my wife to a group of people, I say, oh, I'd like you to meet my better half. And you could then use this idiom. So those are some that I thought I would just use, giving as an example my own relationship. It's a true love story, Romeo and Juliet type of stuff. But let's look at the next part. Now I want to go through these quickly. I am giving you a picture, and I want you to tell me, what phrase do you think of? What am I showing you? Again, these are phrases. Some are more difficult than others. This, I think, is a little easier, but there's one specific thing that I wanted to point out. Of course, you know that those are flowers, but if we wanted to quantify those flowers, what quantifier am I going to use? Well done, Lali, Manuel. A bouquet of flowers. A small bunch of arranged flowers is a bouquet of flowers. Keep in mind, this word was borrowed from French, so the pronunciation bouquet, a bouquet of flowers. Nice. This one, maybe you'll get this, maybe you won't. So if you're familiar with the TV show Friends, you see the character Joey. That was one of the catchphrases from this show, how you doing? And he would say this when, I guess, what was he doing when he would say this catchphrase, like to another girl, like, hey, how you doing? I tried to, it was difficult to actually find a picture that I feel adequately captures this phrase. So this one may definitely be a little more challenging. But in this case, he is saying this to show that, oh, I'm interested in you. I like you. I want to take you out on a date. So in that case, you could say that he was hitting on someone. I apologize. It's probably not the best picture to try to elicit that phrase. But to hit on someone, this is a phrasal verb that means that someone is making sexual advances towards someone and they're hitting on you. And this could be if you're out at a bar. Some guy is telling you, oh, you're so beautiful. I really like that. You're the most, you have beautiful eyes. You're the most beautiful person in this bar. Can I buy you a drink? And this person is just hitting on you, and they're making these sexual advances. So this is a phrasal verb you can listen for and use if you see somebody doing this thing. The next one, again, it's not a phrase. It's just one verb, but I think the picture it gives it away. I think it makes sense that you see this person playing music for these two ladies, and what verb really captures that? What is happening? In that case, excellent, good job, Lali Keva, to serenade someone. If you are serenading someone, you are singing or playing music for someone, especially a man who plays for a woman he loves. I think the stereotype of someone serenading another person would be at nighttime, the guy is playing music and she is up looking out the window of her home or apartment and trying to serenade this person and impress her. So that one, I think, captures that verb well. This is one that, well, I'll see what you guys come up with, and then I'll tell you a little bit more. So there's one thing in particular that I want to think about. Like, what? I don't want to give it away. So just looking at this picture, what are those people having? They are having a what? And I tried to, put it right in the center there. They are dating. They're out on a date, sure. But think about the light. What kind of dinner is that? I mean, it looks like the sun is setting. They have those candles. It's a romantic date. It is, but I think what I was going for was a candle-lit dinner. Well done, Lolly. Great job. So this is a meal which, again, illuminated by a candle to create a romantic mood. Now, you could say candle-lit dinner or candlelight dinner. Both of them are okay, but it's really trying to set this romantic mood if you are having a candlelit dinner. A lot of times you go to a fancy, like nice restaurants, it can, especially ones that try to be a little more romantic, it can be a little dim, but there are candles on the table, and that is the mood that they're going for. That you're going to have this candlelit dinner, and it's going to be romantic. This I thought was funny. If you want a good laugh, this is a candlelit dinner, American style. You can see those McDonald's, it looks like those are chicken burgers with the candle right there on the iPhone. This is the American candlelit dinner, I think, in many households nowadays. How about this one? Once again, this is just one word. It's a verb. Looking at that picture, what verb comes to mind? And I think this is one that's more common, so I wouldn't say this is necessarily an advanced verb, but one that I think is descriptive and that you should know and you should be able to use when talking about someone or describing what's happening, especially if they look like this and they're doing this. So the verb that we're talking about is, well, nice. Good job, guys. Everybody, to blush. If someone is blushing, and you might often use it in the continuous tense to talk about right now, at this moment, someone is blushing, they just become a little pink or red in the face, either because they're shy or they're embarrassed, or maybe they have a crush on someone and that person found out and they're like, oh, no, no. And you just get red in the face and you'd say someone is blushing. It's a useful word. So here is a little review. Some of the phrases that we talked about in this lesson. It's a mix of idioms, expressions, phrasal verbs. And I think, again, they're very useful in this context of love and relationships, which is, I think, helpful with Valentine's Day. These are words that you may come across. So, of course, right now, if I can get this working, I want to know how you did on the quiz. So I'm going to put this in the chat real quick, and you can tell me, well, how did you do? That's my question for you. How did you do on the quiz? I love it. Let's say that would be 100%. I'm flirting with the quiz. Would be maybe, let's say that's 50%, trying to get a little review with these questions. And what's another option that I could use? All right. If I were to say love is not in the air, and that would be maybe you need a little more work on some of these, 25%. Okay, so there's a poll. Let me know how you did, which one. If you say I love it, that tells me that you did a great job. You got most of them correct. Or if you were just flirting with the quiz, you're getting friendly, 50%. And then if you say love is not in the air, then I know, okay, you learn maybe a lot of new words and phrases, and that's good too. You're building your vocabulary. And of course, if you enjoy these quiz lessons, if you did learn something new, I would love it. I would be, head over heels in love with you all hitting the like button. That tells me that you enjoy these vocabulary lessons, you're learning new words and phrases, which is the goal after all, to continue building your vocabulary. So let's see, what are the results are, I think, a little mixed. That's good after 20 votes or so. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Always write to me in the comments. I love hearing from you. And of course, I will be back at some point in the near future with another lesson to help you reach your fluency goals. Thanks for joining me, and I